Their numbers are dwindling, but they're still here, and that is an act of defiance. These are the survivors of Auschwitz, the rare few to make it out of the largest Nazi extermination camp, where more than 1 million people were murdered. Most of them for one reason only: they were Jews. Eva Umlauf was one of the youngest to escape death. Joined by her son Eric, she tells us she does not remember anything from Auschwitz, but she's marked for life.
26,959.
Can you ever forget that number?
No.
She was tattooed at less than 2 years old.
You are just a number, but this number is not only on the skin, it's deep.
She's among dozens of Holocaust survivors and world leaders gathering at the former Nazi camp in southern Poland today, marking 80 years since the camp's liberation. Poles, gay men, the Roma, and Soviet POWs were also murdered here. But above all, the Nazis and their collaborators systematically persecuted Europe's Jewish communities.
Hundreds of thousands of Jews were brought here on cattle cars like these. They were given no food, no real bathroom. And when they arrived, families were torn apart. Some were chosen for work, but most were murdered.
They murdered roughly 6 million Jews, a staggering statistic which more than half of American adults do not know, according to a new survey.
Is your job here getting harder to get this message out now?
This job is getting harder because of the change of the generations. And young people today, their grandparents were born after the war. Holocaust, Second World War, Auschwitz, for those people starts becoming a historical topic that they meet in a historical textbook, but it's no longer part of their family background.
The overwhelming majority, including children, the disabled, and the elderly, were immediately sent to the gas chambers. Their murdered remains burned to destroy the evidence, but the Nazis could not hide their crimes. There are piles of shoes, eyeglasses, suitcases.
No matter how much you know about the Holocaust, to be here at Auschwitz in person where it happened is different. This gas chamber is still standing. We're asked not to speak as we walk through. What could you even say? By one estimate, only around 8,000 Auschwitz survivors are still alive. The Auschwitz Museum is preparing for a future without those eyewitnesses by thinking about what people ask survivors.
They ask about emotions, and art carry emotions.
The museum planning an art gallery featuring pieces by prisoners and survivors.
What do young people need to know about what happened to you and millions like yourself?
They have to know that it's true.
For now, these survivors are still alive and have a clear message.
We have an obligation not only to remember, which is very, very important, but also to warn and to teach that hatred only begets more hatred, killing more killing.
A warning from the past meant to save our tomorrow.
Jesse Kirsch is joining us now from just outside of the Auschwitz-Birkenau camp. And Jesse, of all the things that you've described, is there one thing or one other thing that you will take back home with you as you reflect on this visit and on this this reporting trip?
Yeah, absolutely, Hallie. Since I was a young child, as young as I can really remember, frankly, learning about hard topics as a kid, I knew about the Holocaust. I'd seen the images, I'd watched movies and been exposed to a lot of this. I think possibly younger than some other kids because I am Jewish. And so this is part of culturally what we talk about. And that includes images like this of the rail cars. But something that I want to talk about that has stuck out for me, that is new for me, is seeing the hair. The piles of human hair they have and textiles that were made from that hair. And they have this massive case of hair, most of it dark, some of it blonde, blended in there. And they estimate that's around 40,000 people's hair. And it just speaks to how countless people were dehumanized because of their faith, something they may or may not have been actively a participant in. And it just speaks to what can happen. And it's really tough, and that's going to stay with me, especially because we can't photograph it out of respect for those who have lost their lives. And so it is something that you have to take away with you from looking at it yourself. It's tough, but I think it's important. And I just want to speak again to what we're looking at here. We showed you in that piece the rail cars that people were brought on. These are some of them. This is not how anyone should be on a train. There's no ventilation. There's no bathroom, nothing like that. And this area, Hallie, was called the Jew ramp. Again, talking about people as if they're chattel. And just beyond there, it's dark now, so you can't see it, is the Birkenau camp, Auschwitz II. And so all these families got off here. They didn't know what was happening. They were split apart. Some were sent one direction, some another, and many never saw each other again, Hallie.
Jesse Kirsch, it's important and powerful reporting. We're glad you're bringing it to us tonight. Jesse Kirsch, thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.